Good day thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig TheWriter Stewart, and this is So Much to Say YouTube TV. These are my thoughts, in my voice, on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Now, So Much to Say YouTube TV is the place that you come to learn and grow. So go ahead and hit the like button, the share button, and the subscribe button. And turn on that little bell so that you get a notification every single time that I go live or I upload something new. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. Good day, thinkers, thought leaders, progressives, and dreamers. I'm Craig TheWriter Stewart, and this is the Facebook and YouTube live versions of So Much to Say. These are my thoughts in my voice on black shit, white shit, gay shit, and everything in between. Hold on, niece. I was trying to order some Chinese food. And these people didn't ask me to verify my credit card. Girl, I'm trying to have a conversation with my people. Ain't nobody got time for this nonsense. What? Look, I ain't got time for this foolishness now. And it clearly scanned the card and pulled the number up and everything. An agent is helping to verify your payment method. Well, see, this is why I don't even, like, sometimes this shit is just nonsense. Anyway, listen, let me get into this. I want to say thank you very much to my people who sent something through the Cash App today, because it is $5 Friday and Fine Nigga Friday. What's up, AP Thomas? Lisa Barbosa, my girl D. Moore, Michelle Witt, Barbara Hyman, Kim Adair, Kim Tyler, Valerie Brown, Jose Roble, and Lamika Woodbury. One day when I have Oprah's money, I'm going to go through this Cash App and I'm going to find those people that were so consistent, and I'm going to do something really nice for you. I say when I have Oprah's money. So don't be messaging me next year talking about, well, you had said that time on the live that you were going to do something special for the people who, But let's get into this. I want to start with this Diddy shit, okay? I want to start with this Diddy shit. Now, I had posted that earlier today. I didn't post the video of him dragging Cassie and kicking her and grabbing her by her hood on that sweatshirt she had on, because I don't believe in posting violence. Those of you that are new to following my channel, hey, Trey Lover, excuse me. Those of you that are new to my channel and my social media in general, I made a decision many, many years ago that I would not post video of black and brown people fighting, okay? Now, I know some of you will post somebody getting their ass whipped real good and be like, that's what she get, da, 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 da. I just don't post that. You know, I feel like there are more than enough images of us out in the world, in media, that don't show us in the best light. And so I made a decision many, many years ago, a handful of years ago, that I would not be one of those people that contribute to the foolishness of making us look crazy as a people. So I don't care how funny it is. I don't care how over the top it may have been. I just don't post that, right? So I didn't post that video, but I have a lot of thoughts about it. But the immediate thoughts that I have are about some of the people, and I'm sure it was none of you, some of the people who were beyond skeptical when Cassie first filed this lawsuit. I'm always shocked. I'm always shocked at how skeptical people can be. Oh, I monetized the video tonight, niece. Hi there, Sean. Sean, is that Sean Gunn or is it Gwen? I don't know how you pronounce that. Thank you for being here tonight. I'm always shocked at how skeptical we are. And when I said this on Fag Talk, this next thing I'm going to say on Fag Talk the other week about how whenever we need to center, oh, it's Sean Gwynn. Okay, whenever we need to center conversations on black men and how they show up in the world, or black men and their behavior, regardless of sexuality. I don't care if you're talking about black gay men, bisexual men, straight men. I don't care what kind of man you're talking about. Whenever the conversation needs to center on black men and how black men show up in the world, or a black man's behavior, and what I'm talking about in particular is when that behavior becomes prevalent. When that behavior becomes prevalent, when you can almost make generalizations about it because it's so prevalent that anything opposite of that feels like it's in the minority. And so when this whole Cassie thing happened, there were so many black people who were like, oh, well, they just trying to take him down. Same thing happened with Bill Cosby. Oh, they just doing that because he was trying to buy NBC. No, he wasn't. No, he wasn't. He wasn't trying to buy NBC. Those were urban myths. I had Malcolm Jamal Warner's mom on my podcast, So Much to Say, and she said that wasn't true. Now, she wouldn't speak about whether or not she thought he did it or not, but she did say that it was not true that Bill Cosby was trying to buy NBC. But you have all of the conspiracy theorists who want to say, oh, well, this is why. And then you have those who, when Sean Puffy Diddy sex trafficker Combs get pulled out, nobody wanted to believe it. Oh, they just trying to take him down because he's another black billionaire, and we're the only people who do this to each other. You don't see white people doing this. And then you had the community of people who said, well, whatever happened with Harvey Weinstein? They didn't do this to Harvey Weinstein, and it just don't make no sense that y'all. Let's look at it a little deeper. Let's look at it even a little deeper. There were a lot of women. Sometimes I expect that kind of ignorant behavior and foolishness, foolish way of thinking from men. But there were a lot of women who discredited her. There were a lot of women who challenged the veracity of what she was saying. Veracity. I'm going to say it again. Veracity. There were a lot of women who challenged the veracity of what that lady was saying. There were people who said, oh, she's just trying to come up because her music career didn't go anywhere and this, that, and the other. But the same thing, history repeats itself. The same thing happened with Anita Hill. Now, I was a child, but I remember women saying, oh, she's lying. Let me just say this. And I know it wasn't all women. But there was a crop. Let me just say this to all of the women watching. I'm not saying that there aren't instances where women make false claims, because there are. But I do believe that it is incumbent upon women, it is incumbent upon you to stick together in a way that you believe first and then look at it with a little skepticism. Believe first and then look at it with a little skepticism. Because by ratio, more times than not, when a woman comes forward, she's telling the truth. More times than not. I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. And we already know how sometimes white women move, especially when they're trying to say that a black man did that. We already know that. So those are the instances where you got to kind of, those are some of the instances where you got to kind of, but the same thing happened with the old girl. What was her name? Desiree Washington? Was that her name? Memory don't fail me now. Was that her name? Desiree Washington, the girl or the woman who accused Mike Tyson of rape in that hotel many, many years ago? Was that her name? Where are my fact checkers? There were women who said then. Of course, I expected men to say, oh, well, what was she doing there at 3 a.m? What was she wearing? But women, there were women who said the same thing. Oh, she knew what she was going there for. Wait. Huh? Wait, what? There were women who said that. Girl, what is going on? I'm trying to order my Chinese food and they are playing with me. Let me see if it's going to work this time. If it don't work this time, that's the spirit telling me that I don't need to order this. Oh, it worked. Amen. But I'm saddened. I really was, and like I said, I did look at the video today, but I did not, and that was in 2016. That was 2016, niece, when that happened. So that was 8 years ago. So what I want you to do now, if you haven't already, is imagine what that woman has been carrying all of these years. Imagine what it took for her to keep silent about this. Imagine the trauma, the PTSD, the psychological shit. You understand what I'm saying? Think about a breakup that you've experienced, and long after the relationship was over, you were still thinking about it. Imagine what she was thinking, because this wasn't just a breakup, if you want to call it that, because, but she also had the trauma of all of that. And then when she came forward, when she finally got the courage to come forward, no matter how, and then here's the other thing people were saying. Well, that white husband of hers he put her up to it. He just trying to get some of Puffy money. I'm gonna tell you, like I told my own mama when they rung Bill Cosby up, they couldn't bring him forward. They couldn't bring forth charges if he hadn't done it. They just trying to tear him down. Well, they couldn't bring forth charges if he hadn't done it. These people weren't framed. They weren't framed. And the thing is, before Cassie, there were instances where he had beat up Kim Porter. He had beat up Kim Porter. He broke that lady's nose. They were on a yacht over there in France, over there on somewhere near Saint-Tropez. And he flew in, watch this, he flew in a plastic surgeon, a doctor, to come in to fix her nose because he didn't want to take her to a hospital. Yet and still, many of you, not you, I know it ain't none of y'all, we're like, I don't believe it, I don't believe it, I don't believe it. But see, sometimes we're so committed to trying to preserve the ones that some deem as heroes in the Black community. Sometimes we deem people as heroes because they made it, and we feel like if their propensities get in the way, that somehow it's a loss for the entire Black community. We sometimes associate that with the entire community. And then I think also sometimes we're so concerned about the white gaze, GAZE. We sometimes are so concerned about the white gaze, what they think. Oh, what they gonna think? What they gonna think? Now that this guy, so we try to keep shit hush. But see, historically, as Black people, Black and brown people, we were taught and we were raised to keep shit quiet. You don't talk about what's going on in this house. And sometimes we look at what's going on in the community, in the Black community, as our house. The community as a whole, sometimes we see as our house, as our dwelling, and we got to keep shit within the community so that nobody else knows. And see, because he made us dance, and because R. Kelly made us step in the name of love, because see, a lot of women attack those women too. See, there's a pattern, niece. You see, there's a pattern because he had us stepping in the name of love. He couldn't have possibly done it. Same story, different characters. Bill Cosby, Puffy, R. Kelly, the list goes on. See, we don't want to face the music, so to speak. You see what I did there? The music. But there were women. I'm on R. Kelly. I'm gonna come back to Diddy in a moment. I'm on R. Kelly for a moment. There were so many women with signs protesting, begging and demanding that he be freed, that R. Kelly get freed. Because you all didn't want to believe it. Not you all. It wasn't y'all. It was the other people. They didn't want to believe it. They did not want to believe it. Because he made all this great music. And you decided that you were going to be against these women, even though all that evidence was there. They knew what they were doing. Their parents should be responsible. It's the parents' fault. Really? Really? It's the parents' fault. I think there's culpability all around the table. There's culpability all around the table because some of those parents had heard some of the same stories we had heard, so they had no business leaving their children with him. But fault and blame doesn't end or begin with the parents. And I looked at that post that I made today where I said on YouTube. I looked at the post today that I just a few minutes ago on YouTube. I looked at it because I wanted to see what the comments were. And all of the comments except two, all of the comments except two were like, "Oh, I didn't believe it. He getting what he deserved." But there were two people. One in particular I want to focus on. But she deleted her comment because I was typing. I was about to type, but she deleted her comment. I don't know if she thought about it or she didn't want to be out there. I don't know if she just didn't want her thoughts exposed, you know? And so my thought is this. Michael, if you just want to suck my dick, you can just say that. You can say that. You can just say you want to suck my dick. It's okay. It's okay. You wouldn't be the first or the last. You can say that. You wanted my attention, you got it. But I was going to comment on this lady's message, and she said, well, I mean, I didn't necessarily doubt it, but I just didn't believe everything that was in that deposition. Like, I just couldn't get with the part about sex trafficking. What? I'm sorry? Wait. The only thing that you didn't agree with, the only thing you didn't agree with was sex trafficking. Niece, all you had to do was go to Google and type in sex trafficking. The way that it's broken down is exactly what he was doing. So tell me you just don't want to believe this woman without telling me I just don't want to believe this woman. Like, what? What? Wait a minute. So you just didn't want to believe? You just didn't want to believe her. You just didn't want to believe that he was capable of this. You didn't want to believe that he was capable of this. And see, here's the other thing too. One of the other pieces that came out with the Cassie situation. Yes, I got on my new Atari shirt. I sure do. um, One of the other things that came out was, and I don't follow Cassie on any social media. I never have followed her. But apparently, when he was abusing her, physically abusing her, she posted a picture on her Instagram where she had a bruise on her eye. He had apparently punched her. Something hit her eye. It was a cry for help. It was a cry for help. And see, let this be a cautionary tale. To me, it was clear that this man was abusing her. It's obviously evident now to the majority of the world. I'm sure there's still some people out there who just don't want to believe it. But be clear that when you go through something like, and I've never experienced anything like that, but when you go through something like that, this is a teachable moment. You can't tell people, whether it's rape, whether it's physical violence, whatever it is, you can't tell people when they should come forward. Even in the instance of like Bill Cosby, some of those women couldn't even come forward because the statute of limitation had run out. But there were enough that had come forward that made the shit plausible for me. Now I don't know if you needed Bill Cosby to come and roofie you to believe it. I don't know if you needed R. Kelly to come and lock you up in the house and pee on you and give you gonorrhea or herpes or whatever the fuck it was he was passing around. I don't know if you needed Puffy to come and punch you in your eye for you to believe it. I don't know if you needed to personally experience it for you to believe it. I mean, I guess you needed him to come knock on your door. I mean, I guess you needed to have him come knock on your. He had to come knock on your door personally. I guess that's what some of y'all needed, because y'all otherwise you just weren't gonna believe it. Now, again, she deserved every coin she got. I don't know if she got 30 or 50 million, but whatever she got, she deserved to have. Now, my hope is that that money is protected so that in the event that that white boy that she's married to decides he no longer wants to be married, he can't get his hands on none of that money. Because she deserves every nickel she got. And the fact that Puffy is still walking around, and those of you who are saying, oh, it's just going to go. No, I believe that this is going to be one of the smoking guns. I believe this is going to be a smoking gun. I believe that they are compiling evidence, and I believe at some point, and I'm going to say what I said on Fact Talk when we first started talking about this. And this goes back to women. I need the women who were around him to come forward. The women who knew that this stuff was going on. I need them to come forward. It's now time to speak up. You have to be your sister's keeper. It is time to be your sister's keeper. Now, I don't know if Mary J. Blige know about anything that's going on, but I need her to come forward if she knows anything. I need Little Kim to come forward. I need Lisa Hilton to come forward. I need Faith Evans to come forward. Gina Thompson, wherever she is. The girls from Total. Kelly Price. Mona Scott, if you know anything. Missy Elliott. Jennifer Lopez. Because, girl, you about to go through a divorce. So, girl, you ain't got much going on. Girl, you need to come forward. Young Miami, a.k.a. Carisha. And quite frankly, I need the men to speak up. We talk about protecting Black women. Here's an opportunity to protect a woman. Stevie J, you out here riding around with him still, trying to claim. What you got to say about this? Naomi Campbell, she's another one that needs to come forward because she was good friends with him and running around with him all the time. Lorianne Gibson, boom, cack. We need you to come forward, girl. Somebody tag her in this video. Girl, y'all need to clear your chi. You need to clear your mind. 112, Jodeci. I was gonna say Craig Matt, but God rest his soul. He didn't already died. B5, Day 26, in particular, Willie. All of the girls over there, Danity Kane, need to come forward. Mace, Kimora Lee, Lil C's, the rest of Junior Mafia. The Locks. All of you children need to come forward. The Band. Harvey Pierre, but you in one of them depositions too, sir. Harvey Pierre. Andre Harrell knew something too, but God rest his soul. I got a kink in this necklace. That's what I've been trying to do. I've been trying to get this kink out of here this entire time, and I just cannot seem to get it out. It's wearing me out. It is such a sad state. Farnsworth Bentley. Yes, God. Patrick Cooper was one of my friends. Patrick, you need to come forward. He might see this live. Patrick, you need to come forward. We had a conversation last Christmas. I ran into him at a Christmas party. Patrick Cooper need to come forward. Justin Bieber, I know you and that girl about to have a baby, but You need to come forward to clear your conscience because you don't want this done to your child, your unborn child. Usher for sure. Usher definitely need to come forward. His mama need to come forward too, but Janice Combs. But I don't think she would come forward, because that's her gravy train. But it's like, let's just say she didn't know. I doubt it, but let's just say she didn't know. Can you imagine seeing your son drag a woman down the hallway like that and stomp on her and kick her? I believe Diddy touched Usher when he was a child. Now, I didn't say I know that for sure. I just said I believe. I believe Usher touched, was touched. Amen. Oh, I need to put it in some water. Okay, I'll do that. I believe Usher was touched. And I believe that's why his mama don't fool with Diddy. It wasn't just because he had him up there, seeing things and witnessing things. No, something happened. And quiet as it's kept, one of these reports said that Diddy had herpes. And we all know that it was rumored that Usher also has. And Spirit is telling me where he got it. Now, I don't know this. And this is not a judgment on people who have herpes, because Alexa, how many people in the United States has herpes? I need to hear her up here. Alexa, how many people in the U.S. have herpes? According to an Alexa Answers contributor, an estimate is that 160 million Americans have oral herpes and 40 million have genital herpes. 40 million have genital herpes. 100 million has oral. You get a little cold sore. Well, that's my point. There are a lot of people who have it, so I know that it's not necessarily that he got it from him. I said I'm inclined to believe that may be where he got it. And this is not an indictment on people with herpes, because again, it is very common. That's why I asked Alexa for the numbers. It's very common. But what's inappropriate is that Usher was underaged when he went to live in New York with Puffy to work on his first album. Can you imagine if you sent your 14-year-old child, boy or girl, and they come back with herpes, with an STD? Jill Scott said on The Breakfast Club around the time that this Bill Cosby thing happened, she said, all men have propensities. And I don't know if she meant all males have propensities. But the way I interpreted it was mankind, men and women. People have propensities. They don't necessarily have to be dark. They don't all have to, your propensities don't have to necessarily be dark. But I'm here to tell you that there are people who have some dark propensities. I really do think that Diddy is finished. I think he's finished. I don't think he can come back from this. I don't think he'll be broke because he made it. He amassed enough money that I don't think he'll be broke. Yeah, that video today, I think it finished him. I don't think he'll be broke because he made enough money. And so he has paid um, whatever he paid Cassie, whatever he paid his attorneys, whatever other litigation and things that are going on now that he's paying. He may have to downsize, maybe sell some of these properties that he has and things like that. Like he got rid of his stock for that he had with Revolt, and he sold off whatever he had with Ciroc. He got payouts, and stuff like that. Just like when you've been with a company for many years and you get a severance package. He got severance. Okay. So he has enough money, and I think the way that he'll make money moving forward would have to be privately. I don't think it could be from us. I don't think he could put anything out that, well, let me take that back, because there are still women. There are still women who still believe in R. Kelly. So let me take that back. We only muted R. Kelly for a moment. And then there were still people who said, well, I don't understand why we can't listen to his music. I mean, why can't we listen to it? Well, you can't listen to it or you shouldn't listen to it, because when you stream, you're putting money in his pocket. And when you put money in his pocket, you're giving him ammunition to be able to fight back, to be able to hire attorneys to protect himself, to insulate himself. You're contributing to the abuse. You're participating in it when you're streaming his music. Well, I mean, I just think that I should be able to listen to it. I mean, well, you're helping him. You're helping him. That's what you're doing. Now, it's a completely different thing if you're listening on a CD. You already own the CD. But if you're streaming it, you're contributing. Well, yeah, that's why I said if you got the CD, niece, you all right if you got the CD. Because you already paid for that, niece. You ain't listen, if something happened to that CD, you can't go replace it now. You just gotta live off you gotta look, right. Willfully obtuse. But let me tell you something. I want to move on to Jasmine Crockett. When I tell you that black girl, that black woman, she's 43, I believe. I looked her up today. When I tell you that black woman was not playing with Marjorie, whatever Taylor, whatever that white lady's name is with that bleached blonde hair. When I tell you that lady said, Jasmine said that lady's body was botched. She said that lady's body was botched. Bleached, blonde, and botched. But see, she tried Jasmine for her lashes, though. She tried Jasmine for her lashes. This isn't all white women. This isn't all white women. But a lot of white women, they resent black women. They resent your beauty. They resent your sense of style. And I'm not saying that I agree with everything, all of the style things that black women get into, because I cannot get with them big ass lashes that look like lashes. I can't get with that. Now when they placed on there nicely, and they just look like an accent to it, and it's I love that. But when they look like they have hanging on, and I mean, because you had a long day, you cried or something, they came off. I'm talking about the girls who don't really know what they're doing, but they want to be a part of that movement, and so they ain't looking right, and they look so thick, and you like, girl, how can you even see out of those? I'm not talking about those. But they don't like that you all can rock blonde hair. They don't like that you can rock blonde hair. And then turn around and put that shit, make that shit green, burgundy, then black, and then gray. They don't like that. And you know what else? You know what else? That's why they don't vote in interests that protect you. That's why they only vote in interests that affect white women. Black women are black women vote in everyone in the interest of women. Statistically, black women statistically vote in the interest of all women. White women statistically, doesn't mean that there aren't white women who vote in the interest of all, but majority of the white women who vote, they vote in the interest of white women. They're not considering you. This hold on, I'm sorry. This hold on, let me find it. It's this I'm sorry, hold on. Let me look at this thing I wanted to tell you guys about. Hold on, where is it? Where are my notes? Because I got this in my file for I got this in my file for Fag Talk. Hold on. This thing called, where is it? God damn it. What's the something 25? Y'all know what I'm talking about. What's the thing? The thing 25 that they're trying to pass for the next president. Somebody help me, because I can't get my hands on it right away. What's it called? Something 25. Y'all know what I'm talking about? Project 25. Thank you. I thought that was it, but it didn't feel right. Project 2025, or Project 25 for short. Let me just say this to you all. First of all, I went and voted today. Early voting, I think, ended today in Georgia. The official voting election day is May 21st. I need y'all to vote. And what I need you to do is, if you're not sure about all of the people that are running for the different seats, I need you to get over to Google. Here's my food, niece. Hold on. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Have a good night. You too. If you're not sure of who these candidates are, I need, and first of all, there are always people that you don't know. There are always going to be people on those ballots that you don't know. It is so important to vote in the state and local elections. It is so imperative. That's where we're voting for our judges. That's where voting. That's when we're voting for the sheriffs and all of those seats that affect us on the local level. So when your ass get pulled over and you get yanked out of your car and nothing is done about it, It's because of those people who are in those police departments, those lieutenants, those sheriffs, those judges. It's the mayor, because the mayor is the boss of the police department. I was not sure. 2 days ago, I started looking, I Googled my county, this election year, and I typed in early voting, and the shit came up. And I started looking to see, yes, the district attorneys, the DA, all of that kind of shit. I started Googling that the ballot. I need Google the ballot. You need to see who's on that ballot. What I need you to do, I'm gonna tell you what I did. I pulled up that ballot. Come on, city manager. I pulled up that ballot. Send it to me, Stacy, please. Um, I do have someone who breaks it down, and I'm going to share that on Fag Talk when we do Fag Talk. I've already pulled it, but I'll be interested to see what you have, which one you're talking about. I got that ballot, and I Googled their names. I wanted to see their pictures. I wanted to see a biography about them. I needed to know where you went to college. I needed to know if you're connected to any fraternities or sororities. I wanted to go on your Instagram. I looked at who you follow on Instagram, because that shit can be telling. If you following all this conservative shit, all this right wing bullshit, yes, mixtape memoir. I have my own page. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, please and thank you. Make sure you. So sometimes it's hard to find all of that information, because see, sometimes you can Google this stuff and their pictures won't come up. Sometimes you can Google this stuff and you can't find information about any fraternities or sororities, but you can usually find like which colleges they went to, where they went for undergrad, if they went for grad. Um, Fraternities and sororities can be telling. It's not necessarily the end all be all, but I kind of feel a little more comfortable when I see somebody who's a Delta, an AKA, an Alpha, something. I need you to do your homework. It's not okay to just go in there and just select the name that sounds black, because all folk ain't kinfolk, niece. You can't just go in there and vote black just because, baby, listen. There are modern day house niggers walking around among us. There are modern day house Negroes among us. If you have young people in your house that are above the age, they're legally able to vote, I need you to make sure that they are voting. And if they have this attitude like, I'm not voting because it doesn't matter, you need to give them a deadline when they have to move out. They cannot stay in my house. You cannot stay in my house. Everybody in here is voting. I need you to get I need you to get a ballot for Nana. If she can't get to the polls, I need you to get her an absentee ballot. I don't want to hear anything about the lines were too long. I'm not going to highlight your comment, but I will say this: if I had pledged, that's the fraternity I would have pledged. If I had pledged, well, I'll go ahead and highlight it. It's no big deal. Right here. Listen, it is that serious. It is that serious, because I'm going to tell you something. That Project 25. Let me just give you a little bit of what I understand about it. So it's a packet that was put together by the right wing Republican Party. And they're going to present that to the Republican nominee. If a Republican wins for president, they're going to appoint it, they're going to give it to him, in this case, Trump, for him to carry out. And this booklet basically outlines how women will not have reproductive rights. And you can think that this is a game if you want to. Some of you who, think that he gave you that stimulus check, which he did not. There's enough information out there now that you should know by now that he did not give you the stimulus check. Congress did that. He just signed it. He wanted to sign it because he wanted you to be dumb enough to believe that he gave it to you, that it was his idea. Women would not have reproductive rights. You would not be able to have an abortion under any circumstances, even if your life was at risk. Even if you could lose your life, like sometimes there are certain health concerns and issues during that pregnancy, you would not be able to have an abortion legally. You would not be able to have an abortion if it was incest, if it was rape. Pretty much, you vote for Trump, you're going to wake up in The Handmaid's Tale. You are going to wake up and it's going to be given very much Handmaid's Tale. We already see what's happening with DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, where the playing field is leveled. The way that they're removing Black history from Florida, the school books, the classrooms. All of this shit is happening right under our noses. You will also be arrested and beat down if you're peacefully protesting. So all this protesting that's happening now because of what's happening in Palestine, this document says they're not going to pull in the police, bitch. They're going to pull in the National Guards. They're going to pull in the military to come and get your ass from out there peacefully protesting. They don't give a fuck what you protesting about. They don't care how quiet and peaceful you are. They're going to bring the military in, bitch. So all these silly ass Black folks out here who think that Trump is in there and you did better with Trump, bitch, you can play if you want to. That cracker gonna show you exactly what he thinks about you and the rest of us. But I'm gonna say this, and y'all know I don't even talk money. Bitch, I got a couple dollars. Bitch, I will leave the country. I will rent this bitch out upstairs and downstairs, and I will be gone. If he gets into office, I'm telling you now, I will leave. I will leave the country. I'm trying, and I'm not even just saying that. I'm telling you, I will leave. I don't think people are taking. You think white folks have been emboldened? You think white folks have been emboldened by his last term? Let him get in there again, bitch. Let him get in there again. Let him get in there again. You can play if you want to. Not show up to them polls. Bitch, you need to be carpooling people. Did you need a ride to the polls? You need to be carpooling folks. Anybody in your house that's going to be 18 by the time that next election comes around. Let me explain something to you. When I went to vote today, I went to this school not far from my house. And my neighborhood is pretty gentrified. But there are a lot of Black folks that have been living here for 40 years. Like all my neighbors right here within eye shot, with the exception of this one house across the street, it's white folks that live there. But I am surrounded by Black folks. And these people have been, like Miss Dolores, she grew up in this house. Oh, I'm sweating. Look at that. Miss Dolores grew up in this house next door. The lady over here, she told me when I first moved in, I was one of the first black families. We were one of the first black families over here. All that to say, I went to a school to vote. And there was a handful of us in there for early voting, but it was mostly white folks. And you know what else? There was a white man with a young man who was voting age. I'm assuming it was his son. He was there to make sure that boy voted. And I heard him tell him who to vote for one of the particular ballots. I heard him tell him. Who to vote for. I was voting for the opposite person of who he told the boy to vote for. What I'm telling you is, school your children. If they don't know who to vote, this is why this is a family exercise, bitch. We sit around eating crab legs and smoking hookah and shit. This is a family affair. Get everybody together. All right, bitch, we got the ballots printed out. We do vision board parties and shit. Print them ballots out. Okay, listen, we're going to go ahead and start researching everybody so we can all be on the same page. Bitch, do a voting party. Let's go ballot by ballot. Who we need? Let's see who on these ballots. And see what's disturbing is there are people who don't think that voting works, but the reason why it's not moving the way that we want it to and the way that it could is because there's so many people who have adopted this idea that it doesn't work, and because too few of us are voting in our interests. We have so much work to do to clear the board. Like we got to get people back in the rhythm of voting before we can even start to see change. Because there are too many of them who vote against us that are already in place. So it's going to take some time for us to kind of have a changing of the guards, if you will. And my thing is, if voting didn't matter, so let me say this first. So sometimes it feels like our votes aren't effective, and it's because there are too few of us that are out there voting to actually change things. If more of us were out there voting at the elections that mattered, not just the presidential elections, but the reason why your school, like one of the referendums on that shit today was about should we it was something about gambling or some shit. Should we legalize that and then use the tax proceeds from that to put into public schools? You got damn right. And then there was another one on there that said something about should funds from public something it was go to assist private schools? No. City funds need to go to city schools. That's why these city schools are so goddamn broke down. And the goddamn private schools are flourishing. And I know some of us have our kids in private schools, but the majority of those kids in these private schools are white. So why the fuck should my tax dollars go to these tax dollars? No, send my shit to the black schools, to these inner city schools. So these kids ain't got no goddamn computers and shit. Broke down, run down ass playgrounds and shit. No resources, no pencils, markers, books. Send my shit over there. So you gotta be paying attention to this shit. You gotta be paying attention. This shit has to be a priority. If you're going out of the country and you're not gonna be in the country when it's time to vote, God damn it, get you an absentee ballot. Prioritize this shit. This shit is vital. Like the other day, like we were on the live, Gloria and I, and somebody was like, "Oh, she missed the election." Gloria said, "No, the hell I didn't. I sent my shit in. I did my shit before I came." You know what I'm saying? Like this shit is imperative, and you can't just go in there and just vote for anybody. And then a lot of the ballots, a lot of the slots today, it was only one person. So you ain't got no damn choice. You don't even have no choice. You don't even have a choice in the matter. And like this Jasmine Crockett, let me go back to her. She's 43, if I'm remembering correctly. I looked her up today. I think she's 43. And we need young, fresh blood like that. We don't need no more hair salons. We don't need no more nail techs, cosmetology. We need some of y'all to carry y'all ass over here to Congress. We need y'all to get engaged, to be engaged. Like, we don't need another hookah lounge, bitch. Well, listen, if you're going to have a hookah lounge, let that be your side business. We need people in the fucking Congress, in government. Like, remember what happened with, remember my friend, I told you he's the mayor, not the mayor of Atlanta. Yes, I know the mayor of Atlanta, but I'm talking about the mayor of South Fulton. Remember the one that got arrested? Do y'all remember that? We don't need no more veneer techs. Thank you. We don't need no more veneer techs. We don't need no more CNAs. No, I'm just playing. No more baby nurses. But remember the friend that I told you when we used to write music together? He's in my first book, da da da. And remember it made national news because he got arrested and they were trying. You know what that was about? And I didn't speak a lot about it on here. That was about him being young, a young visionary. He was trying to change up the status quo. He was going against all that old shit that's been on the books and nobody wants to change it and sometimes there's too many old black people there too. God damn it. They too old and conservative and they don't want to change. They're not progressive in their thought. And because they're so old and they've been there for 40 and 50 years, they still kind of fetch it and sketch it too for white folks. They letting white folks just walk all over. And Louisiana, the state of Louisiana, girl, I don't know if I want to start in New Orleans or Baton Rouge. Them parishes down there, a majority black. What are y'all doing? I don't know what y'all down there doing. I'm too black to run for office, child. They've been and had me impeached. They've been and had me impeached. Okay? Get that gay nigga up out of here. Get that gay nigga. Yeah, we don't need nobody else manufacturing CMOS. We got enough people doing CMOS. Girl. We don't need nobody else to make wigs. We got enough people making wigs. We don't need no more barbers. We don't need no more barbers. We don't need nobody else to cut out grass. Ah! Oh my God. And that's what I'm trying to tell you. Here we go, right here, Shantae. 77,000 people showed up in New Orleans. They have 300,000 people down there. What is the problem? They just said, fuck it. And see, this is the kind of shit that more influencers need to be talking about. These people with 2 and 3 million followers and shit. And girl, where is Beyonce? Girl, we need her to come on out here and say something. Girl, tell the people, girl, tell the Beehive who they need to vote for. Because see, that nigga won the first time, Trump, because there were a lot of women who didn't vote for Hillary. We don't need nobody else doing credit repair. Girl. We don't need nobody else selling no plates, no dinners. No. We don't need nobody else making t-shirts. But so many people endorsed Hillary, but it was at the last minute. That was one of my big things with Beyonce. And I'm not saying that the responsibility is Beyonce's. It's not the responsibility isn't any celebrity, but what I'm saying is when a person has influence, I believe it's important. I really believe it's important to use your influence for good and not just to make money off the people. And I'm not saying that she only makes money off the people because she has her foundation that she does stuff for. You know, I'm not saying that, but I really need Oprah to wake the fuck up and say something. Tyler Perry, like all these people who have influence, I need them to come forward and mobilize the people. I think that a lot of people endorsed Hillary at the last minute. I remember Beyonce finally said something, but it was like, girl, if they ain't registered to vote by now, it's too late. Like, oh, it is so frustrating. But I'm gonna tell you, if that motherfucking Trump get back in office, bitch, I'm gonna be doing lives from another country. I'm telling you now. I'm gonna put this bitch on that nursing platform, and I'm gonna rent. I'm gonna rent upstairs to a traveling nurse and downstairs to a traveling nurse, and I am going to be gone. I'm gonna sell the car, and I am leaving. I think there are influencers who do great with their platform, like Pinky Cole, Slutty Vegan. Like she has far more influence and followers than I have. But remember, those of you that have been following me for a while, I've been saying for a long time that those of us who have a platform, we're in a position, we're in a position to create Black millionaires with our platform. That's why I promote Black businesses as often as I can. That's why we did the Honest Hour, and it was free. I didn't charge people to do that. This is why I say to you, I don't care if you have 3 followers, 3 subscribers. It is important for you to use your platform. Use your Twitter. I am watching Black Twitter by the way. You all asked me to watch that. I started watching it. It's hella interesting. I'm on episode 2. If you only have 15 followers or subscribers, it's important for you to use. Wait a minute, bitch. Oh, that's 23 minutes. I said, who the fuck walking up on my porch? You see me look? That was when the girl came up here with the food. If there's a business that you love and you enjoy and they get it right, post about it. A dry cleaners that's Black owned, a grocery store that's Black owned. I think that it's remarkable that Pinky Cole, Slutty Vegan, did this thing with her platform where she highlighted a struggling business that was on the verge of closing up. And in a matter of 3 days, that woman's business brought in like $70,000. You guys know I don't talk money, but I want to just to illustrate this point even further. Kim from Paid for Your Say and I sat right here in these chairs on Wednesday, 48 hours ago, and I pitched Paid for Your Say to Funky Dineva's YouTube audience. I sat right here and pitched that lady's business to his audience. I couldn't have done it without his audience. I couldn't have done it without him using his platform to do this. Do you want to know how many people signed up from Wednesday to today? Do you want to know how many people signed up? Higher. Higher, Stacy. Higher. Higher. See, y'all think too small. Y'all thinking too small. You're close, but it's still a little higher. My point in saying all of this to you, my point in saying all of this to you, that's community. That's what we're capable of doing. That is what we are capable of doing. I've been doing this for a while. I've been trying to do this for the longest. How long have I been saying we can create other Black millionaires? We're in the position to do that. Social media has given us the reach. There are people watching here right now from other countries. I'm in Atlanta. You all are scattered out throughout the U.S. Can you imagine if we all just decide we're going to support this particular brand? It's 1,200 people watching. If all 1,200 of those people decided in this moment, to support my little Black business or to support someone else's business, can you imagine if we just channeled all of that? We have the capacity to get on the same page. I know people say all of the time, well, everybody want to be in charge, and no, but we can't get on the same page. We can. We can. We just did it right here. In 48 hours, over $100,000. $100 a pop. But the beautiful thing about that, you're now in the position to make money. That's community. I don't want to win, and if all my people can't win too, I want you to be able to come along. I want you to be able to have your own. That's community. That is community. And I know there are people who were in Dineva's live, and sometimes they're in my live, and they, oh, it's a scam. You got to start believing in yourself. That doubtful thinking and shit, that doubtful thinking, there's no room for that. Not where I'm going. And I've been doing this long enough. And I do appreciate, and I really do appreciate the people who were in the live on Dineva's live the other day said, no, Craig, don't lie. He ain't going to lie about this. I'm not one of those ones that's going to try to scam you. And so my thing is, you got to apply yourself, though. I'm giving it to you. Dineva and I had a conversation today over text. I had a conversation with Lonnie B after that over the phone. I'm going to tell you about that next. I said that I've been trying to get Dineva to do this shit since January. Bitch, we almost at January again. What's up, Miguel, over in Dubai? See, that's my point. He's all the way in Dubai watching. That's community. That is community. I've been trying to get Dineva to do this since January. I looked at the text today. January 14th, I messaged him. And I said to Kim, I said, well, he didn't respond. I sent him a text, he didn't respond. And see, I'm not going to push. You know what I mean? I believe that people have to do things in their own timing. And I saw a comment that just went by here. Shamefully, I'm afraid. Let me say this to you, and I say this to you in a very loving way. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up too much space, niece. You'll never get to the next level if you don't bet on yourself. You got to bet on yourself. And I'm not saying you jump on board everything that you see across the internet, but you all been watching me for, I don't know how long, what, 7 years I've been streaming now? I don't know how long it's been. Some of you just found this train. This train been moving. Yeah, the promo code is Craig100. Now, if you want to use Doniva's code, you can. Doniva's is Doniva100. Madison's is Maddie100. Same story with Madison. I reached out to Madison about it a year ago. I'm just sweating under my arm. Forgive me, I'm passionate. I reached out to Madison about it first. I said, listen, I'm doing this thing with Pay for Your Say, da 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 da. My people are starting to make money. So I really wanna bring this over to your thing, because I really do think, and look, they got Afterpay or Klarna or whatever the fuck it is. You can pay it in 4 installments. Come on, somebody. Shay said, I was watching you at 24. Now I'm 30. I know that's right. I went to Madison first. And Madison's like, and I get it. You can even pay through PayPal, yes. Madison didn't want to touch it. And I understand, because there are a lot of things going on online. People got these faulty and fake ass GoFundMes, these credit repair things. You buying t-shirts and sweatshirts and things from people and you never get it in the mail. So I get it. So Madison didn't want to touch it because she didn't know Kim. I knew Kim. I worked with Kim. But also, the shit was, I had already tested it. I already knew that it worked. And I knew it before I met Kim. I had done it before. Oh, look at Erica. She said, I got my first study on Monday. See? So Madison didn't want to touch it. But then Mo got into it. Mo needed some extra money. And so Madison sent Mo over to me, and Mo started making money. Then Madison was a believer. She said, okay, let's start promoting it. Went over there, changed people's lives. I circled back to Doniva. You can't use an iPad. You have to use a laptop or a desktop. You can use an iPad or an iPhone to do the screener, to do the questionnaire, to see if you're going to get into it. But you have to use a laptop or a desktop to actually do the study. When you're selected, you have to have a laptop or a desktop. But I saw, well, Kim saw that Doniva was doing this promo now where if you have a business, you can pay him whatever to come on for 15 minutes. And I said, okay, I'll reach out to him again, because she wanted to make sure she was going to get in there. I said, I'll reach out to him again. I said, I don't know if he's going to, but he answered this time. Sometimes you have to let time do its thing. He wasn't ready in January. It wasn't supposed to happen in January. I called Lonnie B today to tell him about that what's happened from Wednesday to today in terms of, now, niece, I said a laptop or a desktop. No, you cannot use the Chromebook. Laptop or desktop, not a Chromebook. Now, Gary, you can purchase a very inexpensive laptop. You just need to make sure it has a camera on it. And if it doesn't have a camera on it, you need to get one of those cameras that you attach to it. But the best bet is just to get one of those low laptops for about $300 with a camera built in. And then you just have to have Wi-Fi. You have to have Wi-Fi because you're going to be on Zoom talking to these people. So here's the thing. Is a Chromebook a laptop? I don't know. I thought a Chromebook was like a tablet or something. If it's a laptop, sure. But it has to be a laptop or a desktop. So I called Lonnie B today. And I said, now, bitch, I put you on to Pay for Your Say. I reached out to you second because I called Madison first. And I said, I put you on to it second. I said, you got on there one time and talked about it. I said, Lonnie, I really think you need to go back out there, and this is your way of really giving back to your supporters, your followers. Because again, I'm always trying to think of ways to give back to you guys. Like and I'm not being funny when I say this, but in particular, I'm always trying to think of ways to give back to people who have supported what I'm doing over here. And it's all support. Even when you're watching the video, you never send anything. You never buy a book. You never buy a coffee mug. You never buy a hoodie or t-shirt. When you're watching these videos, it is still support. It's especially support when you hit that subscribe button and you watch the videos. But I have a special place for those people who watch and they're subscribed to my Patreon, and or they're purchasing books, and or they're gifting books, and or they didn't purchase my merchandise, they didn't buy greeting cards, they didn't buy hoodies and t-shirts, they come to the live events. Like, so when I'm sharing pay for your say or anything else that I've figured out, I'm really trying to give back to those people because I know you don't have to do that. I know you don't have to do that. I truly, I don't take it for granted. It's why I can sit in this chair and break into tears thinking about gratitude. But I want to come back to us being community. Like there's a way that we can support each other. Like because those people who purchase books and send a cash app or whatever, I'm able to sit here and have these conversations to motivate you, to inspire you to eat differently, Rita to come off those cigarettes, or to juice, or to vote, right? I'm able to be here to do that because of the support that you guys give me. Otherwise, I'd be sitting at a cubicle or teaching a class somewhere, but I wouldn't be sitting here doing no videos. So you've afforded me the luxury of being able to do this. And you've afforded me the luxury of being able to invest in the Say It in a Card app, or to print my books, or to ship those books out. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's all like it's a circle. You understand? I really think it's a beautiful thing with that Pinky Cole is doing. I don't know how long she's going to do this. I don't know how long she's going to highlight, but I've been saying this for the longest. And I'm glad somebody with this huge platform is doing it. Like I really think that if Candy Burris saw what Pinky Cole is doing, and then she started highlighting Black businesses that are, or women-owned businesses that are on the way out because they just need attention, not because they're. And then what Keith Lee is doing, but Keith Lee isn't specifically looking at Black-owned businesses. He just goes to places and eat their food, and and it's just basically, and it's still beautiful what he's doing. It's still beautiful what he's doing. I'm not saying what he's doing isn't beautiful, but I'm specifically speaking about Pinky Cole handpicking small Black fledgling businesses. She's doing it for Black businesses that wouldn't ordinarily get a business loan from a bank because they don't have proof that they'll be able to garner that money. You understand? Let me make it plain for you. When I was buying this house, those underwriters that determine whether or not I can get the house or not, they were like, "What is Patreon? What is this? Hey, Skin Potion." Tell me that promo code again for Skin Potion. Another small Black, I'm sorry, Puerto Rican, Black and brown business owner. What's that promo code? Is it Craig TheWriter? Ray Anthony? I can't remember, because if you guys go over shop Skin Potions, there's a promo code over there for you, supporting another minority owned business. But what I was trying to say was the people were like, the underwriter was like, "Well, what is Patreon?" They didn't think I could buy the house. Thank you, Truth Seeker. They didn't think I could buy the house. They were like, what is, what is, what is Patreon? And I was like, well, I write books and, but okay, it's Craig the Writer for the promo code for Skin Potion. It's like, they were like, well, what is Patreon? And I was like, well, I've written some books and, so I have these books and I do social media stuff. Like I had to adopt the word influencer. I don't really see I mean, I get it and it makes sense. I understand it, but I don't see myself as that. Like I see myself as more than that. No, I don't know how to say it, but anyway, the bottom line is, I was like, so I get paid through YouTube, and because my 1099s were given very much so Google, Patreon, and shit like that. Cash App. That was when I realized that Cash App was going to 1099 me. I was like, you didn't 1099 me? And look, sidebar. The people that have been following me for a while, we have a pen pal who had a brain aneurysm. Again, I've remembered him. I've recognized him and never met him in person, but he was always in my comments, engaging with me in the comments. He purchased all of my books. He would gift books. He bought all of my greeting cards when I brought my greeting card app back. Greeting card business back. He bought cards. He gifted. He was always supporting. This man emailed me one day through Facebook. And he said, yes, he's in Hawaii. You got it, Chantel. He's in Hawaii. I never met this man before. And when my car was impounded, that time I told that story before, my car was impounded. He was one of the ones that chipped in to help me get my car out of the impound. This man emailed me on Facebook and said, I'm facing the greatest fear of my life. And he said, I have to have a surgery. He had 3 or 4 brain aneurysms. This man was terrified. I had never met this man before. He said, I just want you to pray for me. And I said, I can do that. I can do that. And so I went on my live, and I didn't have a third of the followers now, right? It was just me and my little handful of pen pals. And I said, I'm not going to go into specifics. I said, but Theodore, that's his name. And he still watches. So you know he survived. And I said, Theodore needs us to pray for him. I said, I don't want to go into the specifics. Just say a prayer for him. And I need you to pray it tonight because his surgery was the next day. And I didn't hear from this man for about 9 months. And I would go on his Facebook page to see if I saw any activity. And hey, Angel. And Evie said he gifted me the first book, my first book. Evie's another one. She's been at probably every event that I've had since she started following. Every time I've had an event, she's been there. I may be wrong, but it feels like she's been at every single event that I've done. Even Fag Talk recently. And so I went on this man's page. I was snooping around because I hadn't heard from him. And I had sent him a couple messages. And he didn't respond. And I knew he was still convalescing. But I just figured, 6 months down the line, something he may be tinkering around on Facebook. Because this man was active on my channel. Well, about 9 months later, I ended up searching around on his Facebook page. And I got in touch with a woman. she had his same last name. So I initially thought maybe it was his wife. I later found out that it was his daughter. And I sent her a message and I said, hey, I was just checking on, Theodore, blah, 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 blah. He had messaged me to pray for him and da, 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 da. I just wanted to make sure he was okay because I didn't know if this man had died. And she says, oh, he's doing really well. She said the surgery was a success. He's learning to talk again, to eat again, to walk again, because he had brain surgery. And I said, oh, wow. And she mentioned that he had mentioned me before. And I said, well, listen. And I was living in 227. I said, is there anything that I can do to help? Is there, once again, I was going to probably send her like $100. And I laughed like that because the same kind of situation happened when I first started promoting Paid for Your Say. A woman reached out to me because she was living out of 10 totes. And she was living with her daughter, and her daughter got a job that was going to be in another state. She was going to have to move to Texas. And the lady was like, I don't think I want to move to Texas, but I have nothing. I have 10 totes. And I was going to send her $100. And I said to myself, that ain't really going to help her. Teach a man to fish. So I called Kim over at Paid for Your Say, and I said, listen, I want to put this lady in Paid for Your Say. We taught her how to make money. That lady is living on her own now. She ended up getting a study like the next week for like $350, and then another one for $100. Like the money just started coming in. Her name is Vicky. She still watches. But she had stopped watching for a while because she said she felt like God was moving in my life and all that, and she just couldn't stand to see it because things were falling apart for her. But she came back and started looking because she felt bad for feeling like that and thinking like that. And she had always felt inspired watching my videos. So she came back, and here I was promoting Paid for Your Say. And it put her in it. But back to the other story. What was the other story? I jumped away from that to come to her, but it was Theodore. So I said to his daughter, is there anything that I can do? I didn't have much of a following, and I was just thinking I could send her $100. But I was like, well, $100 really gonna go far. But I thought I could use the community that I was starting to build. I was using the community to assist me so that my $100 could go further. So she said, yeah, she had left South Carolina, which is where she was living. She moved to Hawaii. So you got to think, she had to fly to Hawaii. She was no longer working. They had a cell phone bill, the utilities. She hadn't started getting paid from the state as his caretaker. So she was out of work. Like it was just, she said, my cell phone bill is due. This is due. This is due. She said, but we also need supplies. He needed like adult diapers and changing things. He had had brain surgery. They needed gauze. They needed this. They needed that. Like, just imagine. I got on the live and I started talking about it. And I said, and remember, I was new at this. So I said, don't send any money to me. I'm going to get his daughter's Cash App, and I want you to send it directly to her. And I said to them what was going on. I said, he had the surgery. Everything is great. This is why I needed you all to pray for him. He was having brain surgery. So this is when I finally told them why I needed them to pray for him 9 months before. Because they would even ask in the live, where's Theodore? Because he used to be really active. And so in the live, they'd be like, where's Theodore? We haven't seen him. Like, what's going on? Have you checked on him? Is he okay? And so one of the people on the live said, we're willing to support, get his Cash App, we'll support. But someone emailed me through my website and said, Craig, I think it's great what you're doing. They need cash too, but have his daughter set up an Amazon registry of all the things that they need. And instead of us sending them the Cash App, we can still send them cash to help them because you still need cash for stuff, the cell phone bill, whatever. She said, but we can send those supplies to them. and it'll be anonymous because all they have to do is set up the registry. They can keep their address private. And when someone went and purchased him adult diapers or gauze or whatever, once they purchased it, it was shipped directly to them in Hawaii. When I tell you, the people who were watching my live at that time, they purchased everything that they put on that list and then sent cash. Now, I remember them sending me about $1,000 of it, which I forwarded to his daughter. And I said, I told y'all not to send it to me. You're going to send it to her. Because see, by then I knew that the Cash App was going to tax me. See, by then I knew that I was going to get taxed for that money that y'all were giving to them. So I didn't have to pay taxes on money that I had to give away. But it was okay. It was okay. It was okay. But all of that to say, yes, Cash App will 1099 your ass. So back to the original point, the underwriters were like, well, can you even afford this house? Like they didn't even recognize and or acknowledge that this is even a business now. This is a business. And it's not a business because you're sending money. It's a business because we can galvanize. Pinky Cole sat in that chair and asked her 1.4 million followers to go and support this lady's website. That's community. That's how you galvanize. That's how you cut out the white bank. We can be our own bank. You don't have to go through the humiliation of going in and putting all your paperwork down for them to tell you that we can't support you. We can't help your business. We can't fund your business. And then you got to pay back all this interest rate because they gave you money for an idea. When we could simply turn on our camera, I can simply turn on my camera and say to you, I need you all to go over to shopwixnola.com and use promo code Craig the Writer. There's a Black woman down in New Orleans who had a storefront in the French Quarters. That store burned down because of an electrical fire. The insurance company would not make her whole. I need you to go over to shopwixnola.com and use promo code Craig the Writer. Let's get that Black woman back into a store. This lady is now making candles in her kitchen. She got a husband, she got a daughter. Can you imagine trying to run a business? And you know how much chaos that can bring? How much stress that can put on your marriage? Because your business is now spilling into the house. That lady needs to be back in a store. That lady needs to be back in a store. We can do that with our businesses when they're failing. There could be a business around you right now, a Black-owned restaurant that's been a staple in your community, and they could be on the verge of going out of business. Wouldn't it be amazing if Oprah Winfrey just got on camera and asked all her followers to go and support some little mom and pop business? People don't always need your money as a handout. People don't always need charity. They just need your support. They need your support. And then they don't have to go to Bank of America and ask for money. Kathy Hughes, owner of Radio One. Owner, Black woman. Black woman. Owner of Radio One. Yes, that does happen, Delta Jim. I'm not saying support Black businesses just because they're Black. I'm saying support Black businesses because they're Black and they're good. I'm not saying support mediocrity, because you all know how I feel about Tyler Perry Productions. That doesn't take away from me wanting to see him succeed and give back, but I can't support that work just because he's Black. So I'm not saying support Black-owned businesses just because they're Black. But what I was going to say was, Kathy Hughes owns Radio One and TV One. But once upon a time, Kathy Hughes could not get a bank loan. She couldn't get a bank loan. She was turned down by like 30 some banks or 40 banks. I listened to it on the podcast. There's a podcast called How I Built This. It's a podcast for entrepreneurs. Go and look at it. You go and listen to it. It's an amazing podcast. The people who created Instagram are on this podcast. They talk to you about how they started these businesses in their garages, or how they went from an idea to these multi-billion-dollar companies and stuff that we all use now. The guy who created Southwest Airlines, the guy who created Five Guys is over there. Lisa Price, who created Carol's Daughter, is over there on that podcast. I'm telling you, get your life at this. It's called How I Built This. But I want you to listen to the one with Kathy Hughes, and she talked about how she lived in the radio station. She slept in the radio station. Yes, with Guy Raz. That's exactly the one, Christopher. That's exactly the one. And she talks about how she lived in her radio station with her son, and they were bathing in the bathroom because she couldn't afford to live out. She could only afford this station. To make a very long story short, once the radio station started making money, and she had proof on paper that she was making money, she went to a bank to get a loan. And even with proof that she was making the money, they would not give her a loan. That's systemic racism. That's institutionalized racism, blocking you from progressing and moving to the next level, right? She was turned down by 30 or 40 some banks, right? The last bank she went to, the loan officer was a Hispanic woman. I'm telling you, Black and brown people, we need each other. It was a Hispanic woman that gave her the loan for the bank. And that's how she built her business. We could really revolutionize this economy. Yes, I did monetize. Thanks, Coco. We could really revolutionize things. You understand what I'm saying? The way that Black women galvanized and put Eben out of business. Well, I don't know if they're out of business, but their shit is still on the shelves. The way that you all galvanized and decided that you were no longer going to support them. So you have to recognize your power. You got to recognize your power. Look at what Country Wayne is doing. He didn't wait for Hollywood to give him. He's turning that money around from them skits, putting himself on tour, putting more money into his production. He got his own cameras and shit. My shit's small still because I'm filming out in the backyard. But this shit is building. When I launched this Say It in the Card app, let's see how this moves. This is a Black man who has a digital mobile app for greeting cards. Like, I have to sit in that and think about that. Like, I don't know anybody that's doing no shit like this. I have to, and it's okay for me to celebrate in front of you. It's not bragging. It's not boasting. I think as Black people, we have to learn how to celebrate ourselves and not feel guilty for celebrating ourselves. I don't know a motherfucker who has an app for greeting cards. Do you understand how revolutionary that shit could be? This shit could make me a billionaire. Like, if the shit really caught on, like in social media, breakup cards by text, and that bitch opens up in an envelope, and that shit opens up in a text or an email? What? Wait a minute. What? This shit could be bigger than Facebook and Instagram. If y'all ain't understanding what I'm saying, y'all not feeling me. Y'all are not feeling me. And then I would be able to take that money from say it at a card and fund black businesses on my own. As black as I am, bitch, if I had Oprah's money, bitch, if I had Oprah Winfrey's money, the way I would have so much black shit in the world, bitch, telling our stories would be on the OWN network. I would be changing the way people think. I would be influencing. Now that's influencing. Bitch, Rupert Murdoch, bitch, damn Rupert Murdoch is giving Craig Stewart. Like, this motherfucker got a whole network. Bitch, if I had a network, bitch, if Tyler Perry had my gumption and really created the shit that we know he want to create, bitch, really open up people's minds and trigger people to really think critically. Ooh, I like that, CTWS TV. Really think about that. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if there was somebody as famous as Oprah Winfrey who was as black as me, mm, 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 mm. I'd be promoting black businesses everywhere I went. Do you understand what I'm saying? I'd be tweeting out, "Hey, what's up, y'all? I'm in New Orleans, Louisiana, and I just did this when I went to New Orleans last year when I met with Tiffany, who owns Wix Nola. Um, when I was down there, I went to a black-owned restaurant, and I did a live from there. But just imagine if I had Oprah Winfrey's following. I could have taken that little mom and pop business to another level. Here's the paid for your. Oh, I'm sorry, that's Patreon. Can somebody put the paid for your say link up? I think I have it up here. Hold on. Here it is. It's scrolling at the bottom. You know what I'm saying? I would just be going around like if I had Keith Lee's influence. Thank you, Rejoice. If I had Keith Lee's influence, baby, I'd be doing all black and brown businesses. All small black and brown businesses. They'd be the only ones I'd be promoting. Millionaires will be just popping up all around the country. I'll be on camera wearing t-shirts. Y'all be like, oh, where'd you get that t-shirt? Oh, I got it over here at this black business. You understand? At any rate, those are just some of the things I was thinking about tonight. These are some of the things that just be floating through my mind randomly. These are some of the things that I pray about. You know, I just if I had Oprah's influence and was sitting on this camera talking to you the way that I talk to you now, heavy ankles, eat, and I'm talking to you about the benefits of juicing. I know a lot of you don't get into it and you're not going to get into it, but think about the amount of people that would. How it would change the lifespan of black and brown people. I'm on here talking to y'all about black seed oil and things like that, and all of a sudden, black folks are living longer because they're thriving more because some way somehow I've influenced the way that they see food. Mm, 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 mm. I'd be popping up schools around this country, even if it was just programs teaching teaching kids, black children, about black history in an honest way, from an honest way. Because I believe that the more we know, the taller we stand. Somebody said, "You got me going to Sprouts." I think the more we know, the taller we stand. And black has always been beautiful, but we haven't always seen ourselves as beautiful. Black has always been beautiful. We didn't always believe it because we were affected by the larger society. We were concerned with bleaching our skin and trying to straighten our hair to look like them, and this, that, and the third. But we had to grow into this kind of love and adoration of ourselves. It's always been beautiful, but we didn't always believe it. Now, we believed it in certain pockets of the community, but not all black people believed that shit was beautiful. We haven't always believed that. But I think the more we learned about the rich history from which we've come, we've learned to appreciate it. We've come to appreciate our power and understand our power because we were taught. We were taught that we've come from all of these people who created this or had the ideas to do that. I'm gonna tell you, when Michelle Obama said black folks, African slaves, built the White House, I had never thought about it like that. I don't know about some of you, but I had never really thought about the fact that black people built that slaves built. It just had never crossed my mind. Now I know about, they had us doing cotton. When I think about slavery, I was always thinking about cotton fields and cane and sugar and shit like that. I wasn't thinking about us building the buildings. I wasn't really thinking about us building the buildings. I was thinking more so about harvesting the shit that we were doing to, manufacture shit. I wasn't really thinking about the masonry, the bricklaying. And I was like, well, bitch, yeah, we did do that. The fuck? The architecture and shit, the brilliance that it took for us to know how to do that. Nobody taught us that shit, the shit that we learned. And I had an idea today. I'm listening to Whoopi Goldberg's memoir. And so she was saying how I'm at the part in the book where she's talking about she was doing a one-woman show in the Bay Area. And thank you very much. I received that. She was doing stand-up in the Bay Area. Yes, it's in us. It is in us. That knowledge and that wisdom, it's in us. Nobody taught us how to do the math and shit, to lay that shit and the scale bitch, that's in us. But Whoopi was in the Bay Area and she was doing this one-woman show, and Alice Walker had been to her show. Unbeknownst to Whoopi. Whoopi didn't know she had been to the show. Well, The Color Purple is out. And she's listening to The Color Purple, the book, the audio. And she and her daughter are drawn to the story. They're driving in the car, and Whoopi says to her daughter, should I pull over so we can listen? So they pull over, and Alice Walker is reading excerpts from her book, The Color Purple. God said, you need to start reading excerpts from your book on your live. Not only will it encourage people to go and support the book, because they'll hear pieces of it, but the pieces that I choose can shift the way that you think too. And that idea came from me while I was like, and now I have a larger, because I used to do this when I first started with the books and I started going live, but I didn't have this amount of followers. And so now I need to revisit that. But at any rate, Whoopi, thank you very much, Miss Shorty. Whoopi and her daughter listened to the book, and her daughter said, you should get in touch with her. And so Whoopi sent a note and she said, hey, I love The Color Purple, and I really would love to be a part of it. Ha ha. And she mailed it. Well, Whoopi Goldberg ends up getting, she has to leave the, I know that's right, Trent. So Whoopi Goldberg gets a call from a theater in New York. They want to book her in New York to do this one-woman show. Now, like I said, she was living in the Bay Area. Someone from New York, which is where Whoopi is from, called her and said, we want you to do this show here in New York. The theater was like three blocks away from where Whoopi Goldberg grew up. But someone had seen her show in the Bay Area. She goes out to be home. She goes back to New York. And she stays with her mother in the projects. And there's a piece of mail that came for her. It was a purple envelope, and it was from Alice Walker. And she said, I got your note. She told her that she had gotten her note. And she said, I know who you are. I've seen your show. I live in Oakland. The shit was in San Francisco. The one-woman show was in San Francisco, and Alice Walker was living in Oakland. She said, I've been to your show a couple of times. I've already passed your name on. I hope it works out. I'm telling you this because words have power. And when you write things down, I believe that power is amplified. And she wrote that letter and sent it to Alice Walker, not knowing, not thinking, not believing that Alice was actually going to get it and respond. And as fate would have it, she got that role, obviously, in The Color Purple. I believe we can will things in. I believe we can summon things in. I think we can call things into us. Have you ever thought about somebody so strongly, and you hadn't talked to them in months or years, like somebody you hadn't talked to in a while, and you think about them real heavy, and then the phone rings, and it's them, or there's a text message or an email, or you run into them somewhere in public. You've willed them in. You summoned them. I believe we all have that ability. We don't all know how to tap into it, though. I think some people know how to tap into that. And I think that's what happens when we're talking about chasing your dream, or bringing forth a vision, taking something from your thoughts, from your imagination, to manifesting it in real life, like starting a business. Like you can see, like taking it from concept to actually happening, actualizing it. That's what kind of vision it takes. I think people who are able to do that have that kind of vision. Like when you look around the world and you see people like Tyler Perry had that vision. And now it's actualized. He has this studio, but it started here. And in one of my books, I say, your imagination is God's proof to you of what's possible in your life. If you can see it here, it can manifest, it can happen in real life. It can go from here to here. But you got to see it. Like I saw all of this for myself. I didn't see that I would be on a live stream. I did not see that. I'm not saying you see it exactly as it is. I did not see a live stream, but what I saw was I would be speaking to thousands of people. I saw this. This was before I ever even wrote a book. I used to have visions. I was like, I'm going to be talking to a lot of people. And at the time, I've never said this out loud on here. I've told a couple of my friends this. I said, I saw this life. Now, what I did not know was when it was going to happen or how it was going to happen. I did not know those things. And when my car was being repossessed, or my car was being impounded, or I was staying at Elliot's house or Angela's house, or staying in the jungle in California, I still saw the vision. I wasn't necessarily hopeful. When I was really struggling and it felt like I was further and further away from the dream, I was starting to think, well, maybe it's not going to happen. But then something would come, no, you still have the vision. You still can see it. I could still see myself talking to and influencing people. I always knew this. I always knew this. I've never said this out loud on here, but I'm telling you, I knew this. I didn't know how, but I knew it. And so what I'm saying, and I'm not saying this to you as some way of bragging, I'm saying this to you, some of you watching and listening to me right now, you see something and you know it can happen, but you're too afraid to start moving. And then some of you have already started moving and you're starting to doubt yourself because it's taking longer than you wanted it to take. It's not happening exactly the way you thought it was going to happen. The road is not exactly as you imagined it. But you still see the vision. This is one of my friends. We actually were co-workers at IBM. And she's telling you, I saw it. I saw it then. I did. And I'm going to tell you something else. My last job that I had, like when I worked in corporate America. Now, my last actual job was substitute teaching. But my last job in corporate America, I was working for AT&T. And I describe a lot of this in Book of Jewels. That job, when I went into that job, there were people there who would say to me, what are you doing here? You don't belong here. I swear to you. It never failed. It never failed. It happened there. It happened when I worked at IBM with my friend Kelly. There were always people who said, you don't belong here. You're supposed to be doing something else. It never failed. People can see the calling on your life. People can see the calling on your life. And even when it feels like you're off track, you're working a dead-end job that ain't got shit to do with your vision. You done got evicted. Your house done got foreclosed on, car done got repossessed. Even when you're going through all of that, and you may not even be feeling good about yourself, you may be in a depression, people can see the calling on your life even through the depression. I swear to you, as I sit in this chair, every job I had, at least one person said to me, you don't belong here. You're supposed to be somewhere else. Every motherfucking job. I've never said this out loud. Not even to any of my, now this part I've never said out loud. Every fucking job. They're like, you're supposed to be somewhere else. What else do you do? Listen, I worked as a server. Not a server, a host at this restaurant. I've told you guys this part before. I worked at it, and I tell this baby, Book of Jewels is the one. Do you hear me? If you listen, in Book of Jewels, I tell you this story. And what I'm trying to thread through Book of Jewels is the overall message of that book is, even in the moments where I felt my lowest, there was something that was threaded through that story. And that story was, I was always on course. I was never off course. I thought I was off course. It felt like I was off course because I didn't have a job, and then I moved to LA and I was 35, and all my friends were buying houses and saving money and taking trips, and here I was still trying to get my father to co-sign for a car for me. Felt like everybody had moved. It felt like everyone was seemingly more blessed than I was. But your story is your story. And what I had to remind myself was, I'm gonna come back to the restaurant because I know I haven't told that yet. You took an un, you took a unconventional route. You trying to start your own thing. You're writing. You're trying to shift culture in the world and the way people think and the way people see things through writing. That's not even something that's tangible. You're trying to change. Like, it's gonna take you a little bit longer. And now thinking back, I was being really unrealistic to think that it was supposed to happen like this. It was an uphill climb. It was an uphill climb. It was such an uphill climb to get here. And there were so many moments and so many times that I was going to give up. And I just didn't know if God was going to give me enough strength to just keep going, to keep getting set back and keep getting knocked down, keep losing jobs and losing apartments and being overdrawn at the bank account. Like, I just didn't know if I had the mental fortitude to continue. But that fire just it would not burn. It would not extinguish. It would not go out. That fire was just, it was faint. It was low, but it just kept flickering. It just would not, it wouldn't quit. Because even when I had decided that I was done, my love for it just kept bringing me back to it. It kept bringing me back to it. Even when I said, no, I'm done, I'm finished, I'm going to get this job, I still would find myself writing down ideas and thoughts and typing new things into the computer. Because when you're called to do something, you can never escape it. You can never run from it. You can never just put it down. You can never just give up on it. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna put it over there because it wasn't your passion. If you're able to set it down, it wasn't your passion. You can't set down passion and leave it. Not for too long. Not for too long. When it's what you're called to do, I talked to Catrice today. We did a one-on-one today. When it's what you're called to do, you can never run from it. And see, when God is trying to birth something that big in you, it has to take time. The gestation period can't be 9 months. It may be 12 years. He's birthing something different. He was birthing something different through me than what he was birthing in my friends. They were already set. They already owned houses, cars, had savings. He was doing something else with them. He has something more for me. And I'm not saying I have more than them or than they, proper English. But what I'm saying is, I'm speaking to the people. They're not speaking to the people. He has something different planned for their life. He had to make sure I was ready for this. And I'm saying, I'm making it personal, but I'm talking to you. Because I'm not the only one that he's talking to in this way. I'm not the only one. So I'm not tooting my own horn. I'm speaking to you. It took 12 years because he knew it would take 12 years to humble me. He needed those 12 years to teach me compassion. He needed it. He needed those 12 years. so that I could understand what it means to struggle, so that I could have compassion for people, so that I could be more generous, more thoughtful. I wouldn't have been any of those things if he had given it to me back then. If he had given it to me back then, I would have been bigger than my purpose. My ego would have inflated. You can't get bigger than your purpose. You can't get bigger than your calling. God will have to humble you at that point. He knew what I needed to be humbled. See, he knew he had to hit me through finances. That's how he had to get my attention. But see, for some people, he gets your attention through a divorce, a breakup, cancer, a cancer scare, a health scare. He knows what each of us needs to get our attention. And he knew what he had to do to get mine. He had to take that car repossessed 4 times. He had to settle this ego down. He had to settle this ego down. And it took him 12 plus years to do that. But see, I'm so honest with myself. I'm so very honest with myself. I knew while I was going through the struggle, why I was going through the struggle. I knew while I was going through the struggle exactly why I was still going through the struggle. Because I knew he still was trying to cleanse me. I knew some of that stuff was still in there. He was still trying to cleanse me. And I knew it. I'd be like, well, I don't understand why it hasn't happened for me yet, but my spirit was telling, oh no, you know, because you still nasty sometimes. You still lack compassion. You still lack empathy, gratitude, grace, respect. I knew exactly why it hadn't happened. And so then my prayer shifted. My prayer became, dear God, don't give it to me until you know I'm ready to receive it. If my head is going to get big, if I'm going to levitate when I walk into the room, if I'm going to think I'm bigger and better than everybody, then don't give it to me. Hold me in the fire just a little bit longer. Don't pull me out of that fire until you know I'm done. Until you know I'm done. I don't want it a second sooner. And I was saying this prayer while I was struggling. God, I'm ready to get out of this struggle. But if you don't think I'm ready yet, leave me over here. I'm fighting. And I'm ready to get up out of here. But if I'm still not ready, don't even give it to me. I had very selfish ways. He had to make me selfless. That's why I share. I have people over here all the time. We're eating. I share it. You know, a lot of the stuff that we do here is potluck. But a lot of it I'm sharing because I believe in community. Because people fed me when I wasn't able to feed myself. So a lot of times I don't care if they bring something or not. Because a lot of the people that are here, that you see here, are people who held me down, let me use their car when I didn't have a car, invited me out to eat when I didn't have money to go eat. I try to share everything that I have with them. Like I want them to really know that I appreciate uh, how they supported me, and just I believe in creating experiences. Like I'm not super big on gifts. I can be good with gifts, but I like creating experiences. That's why when my mom and my aunt Gloria come here, and we do facials here, because I want to create it, because that's something that they didn't treat themselves to. All of them years that they were working, all of those sacrifices they made for themselves, I mean, for the family and for me, like feeding us, doing, like, they didn't do stuff like that. So, like, I take them to get massages. I have a massage therapist here, or we go someplace. Da, 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 da. Like, I believe in creating experiences, because the revelation that I just had the other day, right before they left, I had this revelation, and this it's been kind of brewing in me for a while, but the revelation finally kind of like solidified, and I was able to kind of put it into words. The family that I have left, my Aunt Gloria, my Aunt Arlene, my Aunt Caritha, my mother, my dad, my Uncle Hubert, that's pretty much the last of the elders in my family. And the revelation that I had the other day was, once they're gone, they're gone. And these are the people who have known you the longest. These are the last few people who have been in your entire life, who've been a part of your entire life. Like, they've known you longer than anyone else on the planet. Their day is coming. And so I try to create experiences. When I went home the last time, I got everybody together, ordered food for everybody. The time before that, I went home. It was my mother's 80th birthday. She and 25 other people took everybody to dinner, because I want community. So the other day, when they were getting ready to go home, because see, my mother can't come on the cruise with us because of dialysis, but my Aunt Gloria is going. And so naturally, we were all here, me, Jack, Elliot, my mom, and we were all in here. They were all talking about the cruise, and Gloria's never been on a cruise. And so my mother has been on cruises. I took her on the cruise before years ago. And but Gloria has never been on a cruise. So for me, it's like, this is an experience I want her to have before she leaves this planet. For whatever reason, she's never done that. They made sacrifices for our life, for my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I first put out my books, Gloria was with me going around the city carrying books in the hands. I'm like, hey, my nephew wrote a book. Hey, give me $20. Like, she helped build this. So yeah, I'm gonna buy you a plane ticket to come down, because I want you to get away and just do nothing. And yes, everything is on me. You don't have to tell me that you don't have a lot of money, because I'm paying for the food. I'm paying for the flight. So I want them to have experiences, because they don't have much time left. Even if you say this 15 years, that goes in a blink of an eye. So we were in here talking, and Gloria's never been on a cruise, and so Jack and Elliot were telling her what she should pack, what she should bring, and my mother was sitting over here on the couch. And I know my mother, and I know she probably felt a way that she's not able to go on this cruise because of dialysis. And Gloria has never been here to my house without my mother. And I know that my mother would probably feel a way if Gloria flew down here for us to go on this cruise, and she's up there. She didn't get to come to the house. So I'm sure it's natural to feel left out. She didn't say it, I just felt it. And so I looked at her, and so I decided in that moment, I'm gonna go ahead and buy plane tickets for the other sisters, and I'm gonna fly all of them down here. So when Gloria flies down for the cruise, she, my mother, my Aunt Caritha, and my Aunt Arlene are gonna come as well. So they'll spend 5 days here. So from Saturday until the Thursday that I fly to Miami. They're gonna fly down here. They're gonna stay with us for the week, and then my aunt and my mom will fly back to Baltimore, and then Gloria and I will fly to Miami the next day for the cruise. So she doesn't feel completely left out, and this is a moment for them to. And I just feel like the money spent on those plane tickets, I won't even care about that when they're gone. In fact, I'm not gonna care about it in 3 weeks, in a month. You know what I'm saying? Like, just think about how we spend money on shit. And so I say this to say, because I said this to Angela earlier, don't put a price on experiences. Like, if there's something that you really want to do, or there's a food that you really want to try, don't limit yourself and say, "Oh, I can't do that." Don't deny yourself or deprive yourself of getting a facial or getting a massage or something that you want to do because you just feel like that's too much of a luxury. Like, you get one life. You get one life. And so I know down the line, I'll think when they're all gone, I was glad that I was able to bring them to the house and they spend some more moments together. But then I get to cherish that memory too once they're gone. And I want to be able to spoil the other two aunts. I'm probably gonna have some stuff set up, facials, and we'll go get massages, baby pedicures. Like, I want them to really like kick back and just, you know what I mean? Like, that's life. That's living. That's all for tonight. Bye, y'all.